Welcome back to another great episode of Comedians in Bed, and I'm your host, Ty Erskine. And as always, I have another great guest here for us today. Like to always give an introduction for our guest. This guy, one of the smoothest guys online. I forgot to get my glasses, man. He acts like he's famous. So I'm not going to be shocked when he is famous because he always got his phone out. He's looking at you with those Ray-Bans on and he's saying some wild stuff like, hey, uh, just got my latte today. So I'm feeling like a latte guy, feeling like a latte dad. Any latte dads out there? That's something like what he would do for his little videos and whatnot, man. He's one of the most hardest working guys in comedy, especially out there in comedy. I mean, in Cali, and we had to go ahead and bring him to the show today. Please, everybody, give it up for the talented and the funniest man alive, Chris Williams, everybody. Oh shoot, I gave you the wrong one.
Listen. It's a joke that you said I'm the funniest man alive. I'll take it. So no, that's still the best applause I've gotten this year. So we good, man.
And not only that, we're in our beds. This
That's
is the
it.
first
Listen,
comedian that we're in our beds.
there was no way that I was gonna record comedians in bed, not in bed. Like I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, no, I don't care how long it took me to set this up. I was gonna do it.
I had to make up my bed for this episode. It was
See,
still,
we can't even see your bed. You have lights on your headboard. You got like one of those nice beds.
I do. That was a waste of money, man. Them things only lasted for like a month.
It,
I haven't changed the light bulb since. Like,
Okay, well, doesn't sound like it's a waste of money. Sound like you just need to change the light bulbs.
I know, right?
But I feel you. I feel you. Look, you got
But the light
priorities. You got
bulbs,
things you're doing.
the light bulbs are so like unique. They were hard to find in the first place. So I'm
Oh,
like,
that's the worst.
I'm not gonna do it. Yeah.
That's the
I'm
worst.
going.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
I
gonna
get that.
change. I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna sit a little bit because I want to lean back because I got
Yeah.
I got a foam mattress and that'll mess up your back real quick. So
All right. All right. Yeah. Get comfortable, man. No, I appreciate that intro though. Yeah, you called me out. It's funny. I just like being me, and that's what I try and do on my social media is just be me. And if it works, cool. If not, sometimes I watch my stories back at the end of the day. I'm like, this was the dumbest thing in the world, but like, whatever. Like, it's just me.
do you make it a point to post every day or you just whenever you feel like it?
No, also sorry, I have two dogs. So you might hear some dogs barking in
Oh
the
no, you're fine.
background.
You're
It's just
fine.
the way it is. Um, I try. Okay, so I didn't really get on Instagram until like the pandemic, really. Like maybe a little bit before the pandemic. Um, and I felt really just I don't know, I didn't know how to use it. I still don't really know how to use it. I just do me. But I really like I have a community of people that I engage with like every day. And it's been like I really consider them friends. That may be the saddest thing I've ever said in my life, but like, like it's cool. So I just started like talking to the camera, and I noticed that people seem to like it. So if I don't do
Yeah,
it, I'll log in, and people are like, "Yo, like what happened? Like where are you?" So I don't know.
right.
I just
Yeah,
I if I just think of something, I just put it on there, and that's it.
yeah. No, I didn't start using IG till April of 2021.
Okay.
Only because that's when I booked my first show ever. So I was
Hey,
like, well, this is the only way to tell people. So
yeah.
yeah, I let go of Instagram a long time ago. It's severely different from when I was on there.
It
Very, very
it's
different.
yeah, it's a weird thing. And then I mean, I went back to college, so I didn't I just graduated in June with my bachelor's, and like everybody was using Instagram and stuff like that. So I was really watching how other people used it, and
Yeah.
I don't know. That was
How
it.
did what congrats on graduating.
Thank you.
Where'd you get your degree from?
I went UCSB, so University of California, Santa Barbara.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my bachelor's in communication and then my minor in Black studies.
Okay,
So
okay.
what the fuck I'm gonna do with that? I don't
It's
know.
always y'all light skinned ones, man. Y'all so
Yeah.
socially.
I tell people are like, "Oh, why did you get your degree? Like, why'd you get a minor in Black Studies?" I literally tell people because it was easy. Like, you know how to write the papers. It starts with a boat ride. It ends with we're fucked. Like, that's every paper. You good? Like, that's it. And people are always like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's really easy." So, but it actually, I mean, it also was like, something I wanted to do. But
Yeah, they always say, well, people always ask me like, how do I use my degree
hmm
now? And I didn't really think about it like I use it all the time. My degree is in sociology, which is the study
okay,
of people
yeah,
and
use
their
it all the
behavior.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you find using your degree or the things that you learn in school on stage?
Yeah. Um, So yeah, my communication program, we study human behavior as well. So it's really like I took a whole class on like posture, basically, body movement, and we look at everything from like a scientific, like, stats kind of way. So I will like look at an audience sometimes on stage, and I'm like, all right, well, they're giving me this, or this lady's body's turned away from me. Maybe I don't have them. Especially like a rowdy crowd. I've learned
Hmm.
how to control a rowdy crowd, even just using my body language. So that's one way I use it. Otherwise, man, college is just a grind. So yeah, so is comedy. That's really it. It's like if I could get through that shit, I can get through this.
How do we communicate using our body language? Expand on that.
Like, I mean, if let's say you're in a room with somebody who you don't know that well, you're probably not going to face them straight on. You're going to face them like a little bit off. You're still going to be open to them, but a little bit off. Um, we tend to put our dominant side, like I'm right-handed, so we put our right hand like closer to them, just so like we would turn and shift, and that's just something that's kind of hereditary in us and through evolution, and like if we had to protect ourselves, stuff like that.
Hmm.
But proxemics is how close we stand to people, so people we know, um, like people we know better, we stand closer to, we're more comfortable, things like that. Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, like when I be on stage, like I'll call people out like soon as I see any type of like emotion in their face, like
yeah, yeah,
whether happy or sad,
yeah.
like and I'm usually right, but I'm only usually right because I'm speaking about experiences that I've been through, and then
Sure.
their facial expression will change, and I'll be like, "Oh, you've been through the same thing."
Yeah. You're like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
tough though, man. Like that's tough because I like one thing I want to work on more is I want to do some more crowd work. But I don't like giving somebody the show. Like I'm always worried that if I do crowd work and I give somebody too much, it's like shit.
Mhm.
Now they running the show, and can I get it back? So
Yeah, yeah. That
yeah,
is different. I would say it's probably it's harder. My experience with that has been well, I've never had like anybody take over. I know what you mean, but I've never had
yeah,
anybody take over. I usually like if it's a bar show, it would be a little harder, but when it's
yeah,
at a comedy club, I see it could be easier.
yeah.
But to be honest, I already know what I'm doing like 5 jokes ahead of time. So
Sure.
I'll kind of just like take them on the map that I want to go. So that way
Right.
I know that I'm in control. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I use my crowd work. That's kind of basically all I do now is crowd work because our mics here are they're not as good right now. So
Okay.
I'm not even gonna waste my time.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, because my company's just starting a mic. We had a mic, but we're starting a new weekly mic. What makes a good mic to you?
To me, what makes a good mic is a good comedy crowd. What I mean by that is like people that are coming because they know they want to laugh. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like comedy has been the like comedy shows have been put on display enough for people to know like, hey, this is where I go to laugh.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe in California it's a little different, but here in Ohio, like if Marlon Wayans would have come to Columbus, that's gonna sell out just because it's Marlon Wayans. We ain't never
Sure.
seen no celebrity. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Like
Right. Right.
they
Right.
not going because they
Right.
really want to see comedy unless they're really fans. So I say if you have like good comedy fans, and everybody don't know about comedy shows. So like one thing that can happen is somebody can come out that's never been to a comedy show, and if it's done right or correctly, you got a good lineup, they're
Yeah.
more likely to come back, in my opinion. So I would just say like a good crowd, and it's hard to find like a crowd, especially if you're in a city that's not like a comedy city like New York,
Yeah.
Chicago, or LA. So I would just say like a good crowd. Definitely want to have good sound, like
Yeah.
whatever. Make sure the mics and this everybody can hear,
Yeah.
and I'm always big on being professional. So as long as everybody's professional, if you have run-ins with tickets, if you're selling for tickets,
Mm-hmm.
just make sure you accommodate everybody. Just make sure like it's effortless as possible. So that way when people go to these shows, they're like, man, I had a really good time instead of like finding everything they could pick about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing
Yeah.
I would want them to say is that the comics is bad. Like that's the worst thing I want them to say.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that happens. Sometimes the comic's
Yeah.
just bad. We all just be bad sometimes.
Yeah, but when
But
I say like the mics are bad, like that's what I mean. Like the crowds are just like trash. Like
yeah.
there's nobody there but comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like we got one. on Fridays here on Fridays. That's at a restaurant. That
Okay.
one's a little better, but it's a family restaurant. It's like a barbecue spot. So it'd be kids in there
It's
sometimes, and
hard.
then like
Yeah.
as soon as you start, then the family get up and leave, and it's yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
It's always, one of the worst feelings is like when I host things at places like that. And as soon as I get on the mic, you can see people turn and they start to look like, oh, all right, do we leave now? I'm like, wait, this
yeah,
is like, this might be good. Like,
yeah, man,
like, fuck
yeah.
it. All right, see you later.
It's different here. What city are you in again?
I'm in Santa Barbara, so I'm like an hour and a half north of Los Angeles. So I'm from LA though. But
I've driven through there
okay,
this
okay,
year.
okay. Like down the one.
It looks safe. Like on my
Yeah,
way to
yeah,
LA.
yeah. No, it's safe. It's safe. Don't get that twisted. It is safe.
I was
Not a lot of seasoning in this town. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
there for I was in Cali for Coachella. So we
Okay,
went and spent a day in LA. So we
okay.
drove through there. So yeah, how is that different from Orlando? They're both sunny places, both go oranges, but there I'm pretty sure there's some
From
difference.
Orlando, you said?
Yeah. Oh,
I
did you say
mean,
you from Orlando?
no, I'm from LA.
Oh, LA. Okay, my
Yeah,
fault, my
yeah,
fault.
yeah. No, that's all
How is
good.
it different there? Because LA seems a little bit more busier.
Yeah, I mean, LA is probably has like 30 times the amount of people. Then Santa Barbara is really a small city, very very rich. I mean, look, every city in California, I think, is a rich ass city now, but it's small, man. Like it's a small spot. Um, it's not as diverse. You know what I mean? Definitely not as diverse, but it makes, I don't know. Like when I do shows out here, like I write about a lot of my experiences, which have been like being mixed race and things like that. So when I can come out here and write in Santa Barbara a joke that makes like white people really laugh, then when I go to LA where they're a little easier, or not even easier, but when they're a little less on edge, it'll kill because I've had to work it in a room full of people who don't want to hear about racism or whatever it is. Um, but yeah, it's definitely different. It's definitely different. And that's one reason when I produce shows, I try and have diverse lineups and put people of color on these lineups just to like do my part is really what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
man.
do you feel as if comedy is segregated?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is. People always, they talk about like the urban room verse and whatever. And I think it's different styles, but I think like I think everything's segregated. Let's be real. Comedy's
Yeah.
no different. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And people are scared. I think people are, it's like, they want to see like Jerry Seinfeld. They don't want to see Chris Rock. Like they're different. Or maybe even Chris Rock's a bad example of like Earthquake. Right?
Yeah.
They're so different, but like both are hilarious in their own way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think it was like this segregated when before I got into the game. Maybe because I grew up just watching black
yeah.
comedians that I
Yeah.
just figured it would just be black people in it. Like I
Right.
knew it was white people involved, but I didn't really like I don't know, but no, it's very segregated. I don't really know how to like break that to be honest. And I kind of feel like that's kind of our jobs, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it of course it's our job because for those who are in the power, like don't change something if it ain't broke. You know what I mean? Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's coming around, but I don't know. It's still crazy to me when I see like an all white male lineup anywhere. Like there's so many different people doing comedy besides all white men. And I know white people are gonna be mad that I say it, or they'll be like, well, why does he have to point it out and whatever? But it, come on, it's not hard to just jump on Instagram and be like, yo, you look like a funny person, like what, let me put a little different perspective on this lineup. I don't know.
Yeah, I would like to see more like if there's a Asian headliner like like maybe a Mexican woman open up for him like something very diverse because what I don't like is I don't like when it's like a white comic on the road and they only bring white people with them or a black
Yeah.
comic on the road. I understand why black comics only bring black comics, but like I don't like seeing white comics only bring white comics because it's like you're not even trying. Like
Yeah,
that's kind of how I see it.
it's tough, man. I mean, what's it like out there?
It's horse shit. That's what it's like. It's
Yeah,
freaking horse shit.
yeah.
It's like not like it's we only got one comedy club and they don't really need,
Is that the Funny Bone?
yeah, and they
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
really need local comics because they sell, that's the
yeah.
only comedy club here. Well, actually, we actually just today's the first day. We actually just had a second comedy club. It's an independent comedy club.
Okay.
Um, so we'll see what comes out of that. But yeah, it's just a very narrow door.
Yeah,
And just like how you do, you gotta create your own opportunities. And I would say that's just not in Columbus, it's everywhere. But
yeah,
yeah, if you want to make it, you got to create your own opportunities. But the good thing about it is there's a lot of funny bones in
yeah,
Ohio. You
yeah.
got one in Toledo, you got one in Cincinnati, you got one in Dayton. So you can always go to one of those. And there's an independent club in Cincinnati. So I just been like leaving Columbus, just getting out of that. But the comics here, I mean, we got some good comics. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
Some
sure.
of them get on my nerves because they just like lame individuals, like just in general. Like
Yeah, 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 yeah. You
you
was
know
like, I
how
just
like
don't even like you.
somebody,
I don't even like you as a person.
yeah, like
Yeah,
how like people like you could tell they was lames in high school, and then like all of a sudden like they just graduate and they just want to like reinvent themselves and like
yeah.
be like the head of like this popular group. Like is we got a lot of those in the
Mm-hmm.
scene, which is cool. I
Mm-hmm.
ain't mad at they young. I'm like 32, so like
Okay. See, I'm
they're
older
like
than you. I'm 35.
you're 35,
Yeah, I am. I know. I
nigga.
know.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, good genes. Yeah, no, I'm 35. So, but I get it, and I haven't been doing comedy that long, but um, yeah, man, I see
Yeah,
it.
it's
I
just
still
yeah,
see
it's
it.
just like it's just that age gap. That's what it is. Like
It
nothing's
is
wrong with them. Like it's
right.
just that age gap. And when you hit 30, you ain't trying to be like
Mm-mm. You're not trying.
bothering all that
You're
shit.
just trying to live your life. You're like, I
Yeah,
have no time to do anything with anybody else. Like, I just want to live my life. Yeah,
yeah. So you
I get
35, you
that,
ain't
man.
got no kids?
No kids. No kids.
Wow. Did your mom beg you about that? Like or bug you about
No,
that?
I think my parents are great, man. They're really supportive. They've always been super supportive. Um, which is, I'm really thankful. My parents are together. They've been together for like 40 some years. Like it's really a dope story, but they've always just been really supportive. They just like want me to be happy. I'm sure they
Yeah.
want grandkids. I would love to give them grandkids, but when the time is right.
So you're gonna be an old parent. Like, does that
I'm
make
being
you
over.
nervous?
It kind of does though, because my dad, so I'm adopted. My dad was 40 when he adopted me. And
Uh-huh.
so now my dad is like 75 and yeah, but like I couldn't be a young parent. Like that wouldn't have worked out. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
it is what it
I'm nervous about being like a older parent. Not I feel like it's good to be a parent at whatever age I become a parent in my 30s
yeah,
because in my 20s I wouldn't have made it. But like
that's what I'm saying.
when you get older though, it's like, man, do you have the energy still? Like
I'm sure the answer is no. I'm sure, but we're gonna have to find it. Damn it, we're gonna have to find it. No, man. You just got to, but yeah, the answer is no. Look, I just don't want to be like David Letterman, who has like a 14-year-old at 93. Like that's
nah.
not. I don't have the money to be able to do that. But see,
Yeah.
but see, he's so rich. I'm sure he has other people to parent. He probably hired somebody to just do discipline.
Yeah. That would be nice to hire other people to be the
Yeah,
parent.
yeah. It's just like very,
If
yeah,
we could
man.
get kids at 2, that would be splendid. Or like
To
3 or
just
4,
like
somewhere around
like it's like, all right, you already went through that. All right, I'll take him now.
there.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I feel like I'd want to be able to visit them every week as a baby, just. But I could see the appeal of like, all right, now you're ready to come to me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
kind of like what I
yeah.
want to do with my dog. I'm like, can somebody board this dog, teach him everything, then give him to me? I probably shouldn't be a parent, really, is what I'm learning. But
I just feel like my kids not gonna have nobody to play with. All my friends already got kids.
they listen. You're gonna be drunk at the barbecue, and they're gonna have their own friends. They'll have their own friends. That's what's gonna be. That's what it is.
When you look at your life and the things that you got, if you hear sirens, I live in the hood.
Okay.
But if
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
when you look at your life and the things that you want to do, how do you prioritize like what order they come in, because you are doing things in comedy eventually,
Yeah.
you're going to want to have kids and settle down. Like,
Yeah.
how do you prioritize your list of things that come in order?
I mean, I wanted to do comedy since I was a little kid, like a little kid. And then I was just too scared to try it. I really was. So it wasn't until last year that I started doing comedy, early last year. Um, and I'm at the place now where, as much as sometimes I talk about how I don't like it because I'm dramatic like that, um, I love this shit, man. Like, I love it. And so the dream is going to come first for me. Like, it is as harsh as that sounds. Like, and my girlfriend and I, we've had conversations about it. Like, me chasing this dream, I didn't chase it for so long. And so now that I'm chasing it, like, it's all I really want to do. It's gonna come first. So if that means that I'm not gonna have kids, that was hard for me because I always wanted to be a dad. But I have to chase this for myself. I feel like I
Yeah.
lived like 34 years for somebody else. I don't know who the hell that person was, but now this is for me, and it's like, you know.
Yeah. No, I feel
But
you. I feel like I didn't start living until I turned 30. And,
yeah,
I mean, my girlfriend, I told both her parents, like, we're not sacrificing dreams over here for kids. We're not.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
if we
Yeah,
have a, if we have them little niggas gonna have to come with us. I
yeah,
mean, like on the
yeah,
weekend, because I'm
yeah,
not, no, not doing
yeah.
it. So,
And it does scare me because I don't want to be, I tell my girlfriend this all the time. She's like, when we get a house or whatever, I want a garden. And I want to be, like you mentioned in the intro, I want to be famous as hell, but for the right reasons. I want to achieve all the dreams I want to achieve. I want to get her the house with the garden, but I don't want to be that old man with his friends like, oh yeah, that's my wife's garden. And I don't know how to do anything in it. Like, I want to be present. I don't want to just be able to like, oh yeah, look at her garden. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no, that's my wife's garden there. I don't know what flowers those are. Like, that's not me. I want to be able to actually plant a plant. You know what I mean? So I
I,
struggle with that because I want to be present.
I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about, because my girl went to garden too, right? So I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna get her guarded too. I'm gonna learn how to do some stuff, not
Yeah,
let her know, and then like when
just
I do
surprise
it,
her.
like do it with my shirt off and act like
Hmm.
nothing. Bro, you know how much coochie you get? You
Do
know how much
get my
coochie?
slave tier on and just be like, there. Look at this, baby. I learned this for you, girl.
And then you cook or something from the garden,
Yeah,
nigga. What?
planted grew these carrots for you.
What?
In 6 months, we could have a salad.
Up there eating carrot stew.
So
That
yeah,
is
I put
funny.
carrots in these tacos. Like, what carrots don't go in tacos? They do now. Took me 5 tries to get these carrots.
That is funny, man. That's crazy. How long have you and your girl been together?
Rachel and I have been together for just like a little over a year, not very long. Um, and yeah, man, it's been wonderful. Like, it really has.
So
So,
within this year, you got a lot of new stuff going on. Like, how are you
oh yeah,
managing it, and how is Chris now as opposed to Chris the year before when all
yeah,
this,
yeah, yeah,
doing comedy and having a girlfriend was going on?
yeah. Um, this is so funny because we were just talking about this. I think like for the past 6 months, building Let Loose in the company and the parent company is called We the Village Media, and just like trying to figure out what that's going to be. I think it kind of consumed me in a way that I mean I get pretty anxious sometimes, and not like I'm not like anxious, but I build it on the inside. I don't always emote, and I think I get overwhelmed and I don't know how to like get rid of it. So I think for the last 6 months, I've been like a ball of stress. And it wasn't, I really kind of took November and December off. And now I feel like a human. I really do. Like, I feel like I'm like, okay, like I can have time and just kick it and do those things and not worry, and been able to write some new jokes and things like that. But before last year, or what, 2 years ago, I mean, moving up here to Santa Barbara to finish going to school, I was so focused on school. I was like, school, I'm gonna do this. And I had great grades, and I still had great grades, but like I was still living for somebody else. And the minute I did an open mic, that shit changed. It just changed. It was like, no, 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 no. Like I feel home. You know what I mean? And in this time, all the great things have happened. So I don't
Yeah.
know. But I still be stressed as hell. And Rachel will
You
tell you.
don't you don't work out or anything?
I do. I do work out. So I actually worked out this morning, but I need to be better at working out. Over the summer, like I live right like really close to some hikes, so I'd be able to hike. But what happens is like I fixate. So it's like during my hike, all I'm thinking about is like, all right, what can I do to advertise these shows? What new things can I do? What do we need? Instead of just being like, yo, be present and chill.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. No, I get it when doing things that yeah. I kind of just I definitely journal and therapy, working out
yeah,
and smoking
yeah,
and church
yeah,
and but also just like finding some me time,
yeah.
just
That's what I'm real good at.
relaxing, sitting in the drawers on the couch, just
Mm-hmm.
watching the game, and then that
Mm-hmm.
that kind of helps out. Um I'm either going to positively meditate or negatively meditate. I
Okay.
rather I rather positively
Yeah,
meditate,
yeah, yeah,
than negatively because you already know what negatively meditating is going to get you,
yeah,
So why not
for sure.
positively, So that's one
Yeah.
of the things I do. Yeah, that's what I do.
No, that's smart. I mean, I I need to get back to that, and I think I kind of let this stuff take over. And it's it's good because I was able to lay the groundwork this year on like the company and being knowing that now I'm gonna have spots no matter what. I'm gonna be able to get on stage and blah blah blah. But I like I said, I got caught up in it,
Yeah,
and I've proved to myself now, okay, we can do it. We can just chill for a little bit. Like you're gonna be all right.
yeah.
But
So when
yeah.
you got into comedy, what made you like started producing shows like right away? This is one thing I noticed about you Cali guys. Like y'all don't waste no time. As soon as y'all get in the game, y'all are
Yeah.
producing shows.
Man, I was sick of doing really bad bar shows. There's another producer and not another. There's a bunch of them to be real, but I was doing some shows that just suck. Like, just there's flat out no way for me to say it. It was just it it the audience. There was nothing for the audience, and there was nothing for the comedians. It was just kind of like it's this thing, and I was like, okay, well, hold on. Like, I think I could do a better job.
Hmm.
So I did it, and the goal was really I was going to produce one show. And then I was, it sold out like 75 seats. I was like, "Well, wait." And then I thought, "Okay, well, now we're gonna do another show." Okay, so now we've done 6 that are I think 6 at our bigger spot, and we've done 2 at smaller spots, and now we have a weekly open mic and the podcast and all that stuff. Um, but I also he I don't because a lot of people tell me like, What made you wanna do it?" Or like, "How did it happen so quickly?" I don't know why I would wait. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you wanna look, also, I've waited, like I said, 34 years to do this shit, I ain't waiting no more.
Yeah,
So, whether it goes well or goes poorly, at least I did it, you know?
yeah. How'd you
But
come up with the title "Let Loose"?
that's a good question. I'll give you a rundown of how all this happened. Basically, on, like, a Monday, I decided, "You know what? I think I should produce shows." And then, like, an hour later, maybe that was, like, 9 AM. Like, an hour later, I sent my girlfriend a list of all these different names, and she was like, "Oh, you produce shows, like, right now?" Like, "Oh, we starting right now." Like, "Yeah." Like, "Yeah, yeah, no, we starting." And for some reason, Let Loose just kinda happened. I liked the way it sounded. I wanted people to come and just have a good time. I wanted it to have the feel of, like, a chocolate sundaes in a way, in LA, of, like, that sort of classic we talk about segregated, that classic, like, black room where the energy is just more, it
Hmm.
doesn't have to be a black show, but I wanted that energy that I think is so hard to find other places.
Yeah,
And I wanted people just coming and let loose of shit. So I was like, all right, let loose comedy. And then by like Thursday, the logo was made. And that was it. That's how fast. It's like, cool.
bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know if you ever thought about this. This could actually be a good name for a comedy club. Let Loose Comedy Club. That would be a good name.
We working on it. That's all I'm gonna say. We working on it. I can't give any secrets out, but man, I'm telling you, I ain't waiting on this shit. No,
And the
yeah,
reason why I say that is because like I've been one thing I noticed like traveling different cities doing comedy. Um, there's a lot more independent comedy clubs. So I
hmm
was pissed, happy for us that we got one here, but I
yeah,
was pissed because I'm like, I grew up in this neighborhood, is right down the street, and I'm like, now I've been trying to think of a name for a comedy club, like when I start one, but I can't think of one, and I'm
yeah,
like, bro, this one, like how Funny Bone is, like let
yeah,
loose, like you could really like
yeah.
take that,
No,
like
man,
have more than one location for sure with that name.
that's
That's a good solid name.
that's the thing, because even I think it was yesterday, no, 2 days ago, I was talking to a friend who was like, well, what's the ultimate goal of Let Loose? And like I wasn't really sure, but I know I want it to grow because I want it to be a part of the comedy landscape. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I love the fact that I have people hitting me up from all over the United States wanting to do shows. Um, you know, LA cats who love it, and people like respect what I'm doing, which feels good in the comedy world to know that other comedians like doing shows. Like that was really important to me. It was like I wanted to make a show that the audience wanted to come to and comics wanted to come to so that the show was good.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna build that, but it's on the radar.
Nah, it do look good from the pictures you be posting on there. Are your shows? It look like they were outside. Are they outside?
Yeah, yeah, they're outside. So most of them are outside. We've done a few inside. But yeah, there's this place. Shout out to the Red Piano in Santa Barbara who has this beautiful like stage in the back. It's like a
Mm,
festival stage.
yeah, yeah.
And there is another producer who does shows there, and well, he does like a mic. And I was like, man, I just want to try and run one show here. And that was it. But yeah,
How is it doing shows inside versus outside? Because sometimes I'll be wanting to throw shows outside, but I don't
yeah.
know how to translate. So how what's the difference?
Um, it the hard thing about this stage, I'd say this particular spot, is that the laughs are, I don't want to say they're kind of far away, but people are spread out. So when you're inside in like a small room and you tell a great joke, you can almost feel that laughter. It like hits you in the chest. You don't really have that. And so attuned if you're not I would say if you're not confident in your jokes, you may think that you're bombing, but you're actually doing well. Like you're doing well. You may not be getting like a round of applause every time. You're not getting an applause break, but the laughs are there. It's just they're a little further away. So it's kind of, it's not as intimate. And then you also just have to be ready for anything to happen. You know what I mean? Like I'm working on a new joke, or actually working on like a bunch of new shit. But yesterday, my opening joke was about my girlfriend. I started it, and then some like I don't know if he was homeless or what. This dude just yelled out like blah blah blah, like right before my punchline, and it was fun. It was like perfect timing, funnier than any punchline I could have thought of.
Yeah.
So you just got to roll with it. What am I gonna do? So yeah. But when you're indoors, we have a wine bar that we're doing something with, and you can control it more, and you can direct the focus, and yeah.
Yeah, man. Because my biggest concern would be that like a gnat would fly in my mouth or in my eye, like middle of my joke.
you just
Like my biggest concern, like a bee would come behind me and I would just like take off running. Just
take the microphone too.
that's yeah.
Just, I mean, it's different. You also got to deal with the cold. I mean, we get, it's like in the high 30s here at night on a cold day, but
That
your
is
shit is
true.
cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That is true.
that's some
I'm
shit.
not going I'm not gonna lie, out there you could really see the freaking stars. You really can. Like
Out
it's
here,
crazy. Yeah, you can see
yeah,
the
man.
stars for sure.
I mean, when I moved here from LA, I looked up. I was like, "What the fuck is it?" Like those are stars, and you can see like constellations. It's a beautiful place, man.
Yeah. On my way back when I was trying to catch my flight to LA,
Yeah,
we left like super early because our Airbnb host was telling us like the traffic like will be piling up pretty quickly or whatever.
yeah,
So it's like all right, so we got up, probably left at like 3 or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Uh and we were driving through your city and the highway was packed. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's
yeah,
4 o'clock. Why is it where is everybody going?
bro.
Like
It ain't. Yeah, I'll tell you. I don't know, but it's all because, especially in LA. In LA, you could be 3 o'clock in the morning and be in traffic.
yeah, man.
You'd be like,
Yeah.
just be mad. Like what?
So
in
you
traffic.
came up. So you came up with the Let Loose comedy. And
Yep.
let's talk about you being the host of Funny Business Podcast. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you just, like you said, you just came up with all these thoughts and just fleshed them out. Like, how do we come up with the Funny Business Podcast?
Yeah. So when I was at UCSB going to school, I worked for the radio station. We have like an FM radio station, like a real radio station, and I had a radio. I had a show, and I was on the executive committee. So it's like every Friday we meet, and it's students who actually make the decisions for this radio show, right? I mean, for this radio station, which is when you're young, man, nobody listens to your opinion. So you have these kids, no offense, who get to exercise their thoughts and opinions. And I met a bunch of really cool people, and I always wanted a podcast. Never knew what it was going to be about, but I always wanted it. And so I met this guy, Daniel Husias, who's become like a brother to me. And he has a podcast, and we talked, and I was like, yo, I really want to do, and we have a radio show together as well. It's like, I really want to do this podcast about this and jokes and blah, blah. And we talked it out. And maybe within like 2 weeks, we came up this idea of funny business. And um, really, it just came from my natural sort of just questions about comedy. Like, I want to know more about the game of comedy. So I figured, like, how could I learn more and teach other people? It's like, fuck it. Like, let me just sit down and talk to comics. And
Yeah.
I call it funny business because the business of comedy is really weird. This is really, you're gonna work for free forever, and then hopefully you make, like, there's not many businesses where you just do stuff for free. And
Yeah.
also I call it funny business because I don't think comics realize that they are a business.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a business. And
Yeah.
you got to treat it as such. So
I'm
that's what I
I'm
do.
in year 3, and I'm just now realizing that. Like, I take everything seriously. Like, even if it's an open mic, I'm gonna make sure I look somewhat presentable because you don't know who's out there and stuff like that. And how did you know and realize that comedy? Well, you being the
Mhm,
comic, you are a
mhm.
business yourself.
I mean, because like, I think about Kevin Hart a lot and just what he's created. Whether people think he's funny or not, whatever, like, he has to be doing something well. Like, you just has to. I've never seen Kevin Hart look crazy. Like, I've never seen him look, and I'm sure he does. But like, when I did open mic one time in sweats, and somebody was like, "What? Somebody called me out, like, on my Instagram, was like, in sweats? You're never in sweats." So, like, okay, people are noticing. Like, all right, so if part of this is fake it till you make it, but you have to know when you can't fake it anymore. You have to know your limits in that. But if I always look like I know what I'm doing on stage, and even when I'm on stage, then the audience will come along with me. But
Yeah.
if I look disheveled and stuff like that, they're like, oh, what's this? Where's this going? So I think about that with everything. I think about that with um, my communication with the producer. Like, everything is a business, and we're in the business of presenting ourselves. So how would I want to be presented? And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you always look smooth. You got that
I
nice little
appreciate
leather
it.
jacket on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah, I love that jacket. Never thought I'd take that on stage, but I love that jacket. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I always think that how people dress, like, kind of, it's like their first presentation of like their personality.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I always try. Yeah, I'm always pretty cool. I'm normally wearing like some ripped jeans, like whatever, like really chill, nothing too crazy. But I like one piece that's like nice. That's it. That's who I am.
My fault.
But
I'm listening to you. I was trying to subscribe to your podcast, but
oh, it's all good.
I can't find it. But I'll
Yeah,
get it from you
ain't
later.
no. This.
So what's like your worst bombing story?
Mm, I don't even know. This is really strange because I was telling somebody this story, like a comedian, this story the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, that's not really a bomb," and I was like, "No, that was a bomb." He's like, "No, that's not really a bomb." Um, so I don't know if I have, like, and I'm not saying this to be rude. I don't know if I have like a bombing story, but because I feel like I always get something out of it. But
Hmm.
I did a set. before I perform, I need like a moment to myself. I need like whatever it is. I got to like get the headphones in. It's really important to me to have this moment. I did a set in Ventura for Fringe Show, and it's like a set that I've done a million times. And I knew there are a bunch of people there who've seen me perform a bunch. So I'm already in my head about it. Instead of just doing my thing, I'm like, oh, I got to change something up because they've heard this, blah, blah, blah. I went on stage, man, and it was like in the original Space Jam when they took the powers of the players. Like, I felt powerless, bro. I was like, what the hell? I looked at my friend halfway through and just shrugged on stage. I was like, this is not going well. But instead of panicking, and like you could see the audience was a little restless. Instead of panicking, I just sat down on the stool and just leaned into like, I'm just gonna take my time and get through this. Because when people panic, you start to panic too. You're like, oh God, they're bombing. And then they know they're bombing. You're like, ah, shit. Like, I was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna slow this down. But I got off that stage and like people gave me the like, hey, it's over. And I was like, damn, you're right. Like, yeah, you're right. Like that was like, like, hey, at least it's over. I was like, oof. Yeah, that's probably the worst one, man. I have a joke about the Black Eyed Peas, and one time I told it. That's about the fact that the Black Eyed Peas had a song called "Let's Get Retarded." Like that's crazy. Like they really had that song, and we danced to it, right? And I said that line. I was like, "That's crazy," and this woman was like, "It's not that crazy." I was like, "I think it is. I think it is crazy. Like I think it's crazy." She would not let me get through that joke, man. I just had to put that joke away. I was like, "All right, we're just getting on to the next." Like she was like, "Explain why that's crazy." I'm like, "You don't understand why that's strange that they would have that." So, like, I don't know. So that threw me off, but I was able to get back. But it was like I was about to argue political correctness with this lady on stage. Like I was like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah, man. I'll take it she
Yeah.
was black because only a black person.
Yes, 100%, 100%. I was like, "What? Like, you, ma'am? Like, very clearly, this song is inappropriate. Like, what? Where have you been, ma'am?" But
Chris, who's on your Mount Rushmore of comedy?
Dave Chappelle. But like, I'm gonna say right now, early Dave Chappelle. I really don't know what Dave Chappelle's doing right now. I feel like Dave Chappelle right now is trying to make a point, but when you just argue a point over and over again, it's like he don't even remember his point anymore. That's what I feel like he's trying to do. Um, George Carlin was just like for me, just like was so good. Roy Woods Jr. From the Daily Show, I think is just like a master. And everything I read with him or I listen to like a podcast of him, the way he breaks down his jokes and he's so scientific about it, which I think a lot, especially in like the black comedy, we don't see many people who are like scientific with their jokes the way that like let's say a Jerry Seinfeld is, but he's like Jerry Seinfeld but black, like a black comic. And I think it's incredible. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. Who else is on that? I loved watching like Whoopi Goldberg like back in the day when she was doing like one woman shows and that stuff. Like just her freedom on stage is like what I aspire to be. I just want to be able to just be free.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one for me, who I've started watching more and more, is Tony Baker. And
Mm-hmm.
I know people are like, you can't put him on Mount Rushmore already, like blah blah blah. It's another thing of like just aspiring to be that free in yourself on stage. And so my and obviously like Richard Pryor, Eddie, all those. Like I can't not have those people. I loved Ellen. Like Ellen back in the day. Here and Now is like one of my favorite specials. It's clean. Her observations are great. But yeah.
I feel like Tony Baker is like the mayonnaise version of like Dion Cole, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can see that. It,
Yeah.
it's, it's funny because people love Dion Cole and like I want to. Um, I, I don't know. The thing is, like, I don't dislike him, and I would absolutely go see him, but I don't connect with his comedy as much as sometimes as much as I want to be honest, and that might
Yeah,
just be a
yeah,
cultural thing.
yeah, yeah. He's one of my faves. I
Okay.
think I connect because like I used to watch him do Comic View, so I've seen like
Yeah.
him grow.
Yeah, yeah,
Obviously not from the very beginning,
yeah.
but like I've seen how he's grown and like how he still
And he's
hasn't
still
compromised at some
yeah.
at
And
to some
and,
degree.
and that's true because I bet that he would be even more successful if he did compromise. But you're right, and he's always stayed true to himself. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
dope. Yeah.
yeah. I like
So,
that. But yeah, Tony Baker, I like. Did you see his comedy special on YouTube, the new one? I think it's
I
called
haven't seen it
Skinny
yet.
Cat.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
it yet.
I've been meaning to watch it. It's an hour 20, so I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know when I can find
yeah,
an hour 20, but one person I did just watch their comedy special I was studying was Kev on Stage, his
yeah.
new
That
one.
whole, Kevin Stage is like one of the people who I like. I look at what he's doing. I'm like, all right, if he could do it, how can I get to that? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love, I love what he's doing, man. That whole group, I think, is just really, to me, or all of them are just incredible. But I
yeah,
like
yeah,
Tony Baker would just say something that when you watch him on Instagram, he'll just say something, and then I'm like, dude, that's the bit, and then he's writing something about it. But he's just anybody who just be themselves, I admire.
yeah.
You know,
I don't feel like I've gotten there yet. Like the voice I'm using with you right now, I don't even use this voice on stage.
yeah,
I don't mean to use a different voice. It's just like when I get on stage, I naturally you go into like my deeper voice, which
yeah.
I don't like, but I don't know how to stop it. Like I
It's
just be up there
yeah.
talking. I'm like, I'm not myself up here yet, like how I would want to be, you
I
know.
I'm pretty. I don't. I'm not the exact same, but I try to stay close. There are moments, and I think I heighten certain things, and my voice gets a little higher at times. Um, but I think I'm writing from a true perspective. Like I don't feel like I'm writing as somebody else who is worried about other people liking it. I try and think like this is the shit that I think of, so I'm gonna say it. Um, Sometimes I'm like maybe I need to write as somebody else, but the whole goal is to be yourself. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so
I'm
when you go on stage, you say you use a deeper voice. Is that like is it like a cooler version of you?
no, it's like let me see. Uh let me think of like a joke. I
Nobody
don't know,
steal this,
my
okay?
thing is in
Don't
there.
steal it.
So I'll say something like when I think of when blah put me on when blah. Okay, here we go. When white people say that they watch BET, hold on. When white people say they're down with the culture, I ask them to name 5 BET original shows. Like my
Mhm.
voice is like I don't know, it
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
automatically goes down. I don't know why it does that.
I mean, it sounds like it's because it sounds a little like Deion Cole.
Yeah.
Like it, and I'm not. I don't mean that, and I don't mean that in a bad way because
Yeah, yeah.
all we know is what we see. But I
Yeah.
could see a style. I could see it. I could see that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what's
yeah.
up.
I don't. I just noticed it, and I don't like it. I don't like because I'm like I don't talk like this all the time, but on
Yeah,
stage for some reason
you
I
just go
don't
into it.
know. Yeah. So I think, but just like going along and noticing little things like that could make all the difference for your set or something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. Now let me ask you this: do you watch like do you listen? Do you tape your sets? Do you watch them? Do you listen to them? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
watch that shit sometimes. I'll be like,
Yeah. I just started that this year. I will only tape shows, but now I go to mics and I'll tape them.
oh yeah.
If I'm bombing, I'm not going to watch it. I'll probably fast forward through the bad parts.
Look, that's real talk because I know comedians are like, I watch every single. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Nah, and if I do bomb, I'm only gonna watch it like one time. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
had a don't tell show that I felt like didn't go well, and
Okay,
it happened like 2 weeks ago. I just watched it a couple days ago,
okay.
maybe yesterday. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was trying to avoid it,
yeah.
and it's like it didn't go bad. I just got this one joke about sucking dick, and I
I
tell
like how
women like
quickly you said it. She's got this one joke
yeah.
about sucking dick, which, but anyway,
I basically have a joke where I basically tell women they don't have a choice. They have to suck the dick. Like, but
okay,
I only say it like that because there's this narrative that guys have to pay all the bills. And so
okay.
that's my response to it. But I don't tell people that's my response to it.
Got
I
you,
just come
got you,
straight out and be like, if I'm paying all the bills, you're sucking dick every day. Like
got
that's
you.
how like and so
Ye-
sometimes it works in rooms and sometimes it don't. And when I said that joke, the whole crowd just went left. Like
Yeah, yeah,
so yeah,
because
and
that's a
which was
strong.
weird.
It's a strong
Yeah,
thing to say because it's shocking. It's almost shocking, But as long as you have like a good reason behind it, you have to be able to back it up. That's where the
Yeah,
funny comes in. Yeah.
yeah, I do.
Damn. He said, I do.
Do
I'm
I
paying the
do I
bills.
do I back it up in the joke? Let me think.
I
I
mean,
don't
that's
know.
that's
Do I give the reasoning?
because that's the
Uh,
funny part. You have to explain why.
yeah,
Otherwise, you just telling women that they giving head.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love.
I don't give the reason. I don't.
He said, you know what? Hold on, wait. Let me hold
But
on a
is there
second.
really a reason? Is there really a reason to suck dick? I mean, you just do it
I
because it
mean,
makes them happy.
okay, so the women are gonna be like, so there's certain things I need you to do just because it makes me happy.
Yeah, but then nah, that ain't gonna work because they be like, "Well, I gotta do everything to make you happy." I don't know, but there's something. There's something there. There's
There's something
definitely
there.
something
There's
there.
definitely something
Yeah,
there.
yeah, but yeah.
How
I
do
just
you?
come straight out and tell them they need to suck the dick, quit playing games. Like,
And then you tell them your name when you hit the stage. I like. Okay. How do you write your jokes? Like, do you sit down every day and write? Do you just think of shit like throughout the day?
I definitely write every day. What I mean by that is, see, this is how. See, I'm glad that you started when you started because I just feel like sometimes too many people are really just like, I need to start when the time is right. And that's not really true. Like,
Yeah, because what does that
you
even
know,
mean? Yeah.
when you, I feel like sometimes the answers that I get is just God given, meaning like, if you're born to do something, you will realize that you have the gift to do
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
and you just have to start and that gift will naturally come out. So
Yes.
when I
Yeah.
so when I say I write every day, uh for example, uh, I do storytelling, but I would say my first trick in my bag is well, my first, I meant to say crowd work.
Mm-hmm.
So I do crowd work now, but my first trick in my bag I would say is storytelling. So I'm like, okay, I haven't told a story in a while, so sometimes I'll put myself in situations where I know I'm going to get a good story. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like, for example, I went to go get a wax, like my pubic hair wax,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
knew it was going to be funny. I knew it was going to be hilarious, and as
Yeah.
soon as I got out of there, I just wrote down word for
Everything.
word what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, as the tags come, they come. Sometimes I hate it though. I usually write a lot when I am driving. Like
Okay.
I hate, like I'll have stuff in my head,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I'll just be like, as soon as I get to a red light, I'll just be like, hurry up and
Like,
write it
yeah.
down.
Write that down. Write that down.
Yeah. Or sometimes like what I'll do is if I wrote a joke down, I have like this little microphone in here somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just go in my living room and I'll just practice.
Yeah.
And when I tell the joke, I'll come up with a new tag because I like freestyle a lot. So
Yeah.
when I freestyle, I'll just be like, okay, I write that down. Or I mean, sometimes for real, when me and my girlfriend is talking and we kind of talking about our past with
Yeah.
our toxic ex or whatever, like situations like that. Or sometimes, man, to be honest, like the joke, like something funny would just pop in my head. I can't take credit for it. It just pop in my head, and
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh shoot, that's funny. Let me write that down."
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just write the premise down, and the premise will be in my phone for like 6 months, and I'll just go along life, and then I'll keep adding to it, and then I'll
Yeah.
finally write what I had down,
Yeah.
and then just go from there. So, but definitely living life
Yeah. Yeah.
and making sure you put yourself in situations that
Mm-hmm.
you can find something funny.
Yep.
Like if you was yeah, like just find yourself situations, and then other than that, like sometimes I will sit down and write, but I notice like when I sit down and write and when I try to learn the techniques and write by techniques and structure line for line, that's when I struggle the most.
Yeah. I feel like, I think I heard Taylor Tomlinson talk about how she before she couldn't sit down and write. She couldn't do it because when she would sit down, she'd go to write, and it just didn't like it was so much pressure that she put on herself to come up with something funny right then. But it was funny because she's like, well, now that I'm making all this Netflix money, I've learned how to sit down and just write. I have an office. She's like, I go to my office, I sit down and write. And I think it's true because I think when I sit down to write, I put so much pressure on myself for every like line stroke to be something great instead of just writing down a premise and be like, cool, I wrote today. You know what I mean? Like write down 5 premises. I don't have to complete them. but just
Yeah,
do something because writing is different, you know.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
And
I've been
that's
asking
part of what
people
I
for
do
sure.
too. Like if I like for real, I will be like, okay, I'm writing for an hour. That I don't have a problem with. I'm writing for
Yeah,
an hour, and most of that hour, the first 30 minutes, I'm writing, like
yeah,
just getting shit out of my head that I think is
yeah,
funny. And then sometimes I am the last 30 minutes, I'm like going up in the living room with the microphone practicing, like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And that's another form of writing too. And sometimes, to be honest, I like to know what kind of weed I'm smoking. So if I'm smoking weed that spark creativity, I'm
You're
gonna
like, I'm
smoke
on.
it. I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not
You're like,
gonna
yeah,
like this.
I'm going back to that. Hmm.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm not gonna lie, it be fun. Like I be making jokes, I be making myself laugh. And I'm like,
Bro,
this shit is funny. I'm gonna write this down. Like, so
I
yeah, I'll do that sometimes too.
one of my favorite things that happens to me is I'll smoke a little bit. I don't smoke too much, but I smoke a little bit, and then like I'll be like, babe, I wrote this joke. Go tell Rachel. Like I wrote this joke. I'm like, she's like, what's it about? I'm like, it's about the shipping process of stuff. And she's like, okay. And the way she looks at me is just like, no. She's just no. I'm like, I'll still be laughing. And she's like, no. Then I'll take it on, and then I'll take it on stage, and the audience will just be like, maybe not that one. I'm like, okay, cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool. So
yeah.
yeah, I get that. But I love
I
when I make myself laugh like that when I'm writing.
I actually ever since I'm not gonna lie, ever since I started doing this technique, my writing has been a lot easier. So I was watching, I think it was a documentary on Showtime about the Comedy Store, and it was
Okay.
talking about how Richard Pryor, like how he writes. So he would just write like random thoughts or whatever, go on stage, and he would bomb every time for like
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then when people would laugh at little parts in the joke, he would keep those and then
Yeah.
put all those together and take out the parts that wasn't funny. And then they would say like every 6 week he would have a killer new set.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I started to do that because I just felt like I was putting too much pressure on myself.
Yeah.
And so I started to do that. I'll just go up there. I'm not trying to win the night. I'm not trying
Right.
to have the best set of the night. I'm just trying to see what works. I go up there, I tell jokes, I bomb. Like
Yeah.
nobody's fucking laughing.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, okay, whatever. And then after that, I just remember where it was funny. Sometimes I might freestyle while I'm up there if nothing's
Mm-hmm.
funny. They laughed, okay, I'm gonna do that. So I do that a lot. Like when I'm up
Yeah.
there with my phone, that means I'm working on new stuff. I just wrote it all down and stuff like that. And sometimes I'll just go up there and freestyle, and then I'll record the whole set when I'm freestyling. I might say something funny then,
Yeah. Yeah. You
and then
never
I'll
know.
go back home and write that part down. So yeah,
That'd be
it's a
sick.
lot to it, but yeah, ever since I've been doing it that way, honestly, like the jokes has been like
Yeah. It's been coming in.
effortless. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think this is something I mean, I think I'm still guilty of is when I go to an open mic, I still want to have like the best set and not to compare with other people, but I just want my set to be good, right? Because
yeah,
it's new. But if you're going to an open mic and you're killing every night, you're not doing it right. Like your
yeah,
job at an open mic is to fail.
yeah.
If you're not failing, you're not really writing new stuff. Like, I don't know. And I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. But I need to
No,
put myself out there more.
no, I agree. One thing my counselor told me, it was just like get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I
Yeah.
just been applying that in every aspect of my life. So
Yeah.
when I go up there, if they're not laughing, that's totally fine. I don't really care to. It's just too much anxiety, and it's like,
Yeah.
and then like after that, it was just like, okay, do you want to be an open micer, or do you want to be a full-time comic? And so I was like, I want to be a full-time comic. So I stopped caring about open mics. Like I'm
Yeah.
just coming up here. Like every mic, I try to like have a goal. Are we working on a new joke? Are we working on
Mhm.
a new tag on our old
Mhm.
joke? Are we just focusing on crowd work today? Are we what is the goal? So I'd use open mics for that now because my anxiety, like I would have panic attacks on stage and
Oh,
stuff.
damn.
Like I would get so like anxious, and I'm like, it's just too much for me,
Yeah.
everyday life. And then at night, I'm supposed to be having fun doing comedy, but I'm anxious
Yeah.
as heck.
You're
So
right.
I just started to like make sure I have fun, make sure we set a goal for the night, like where we work, like I said, and then
Yeah.
from there, if nobody laughs, especially if it's room full of comics, if nobody laughs, somebody knows I'm funny. And if
Right.
nobody
Yeah,
knows
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
and if nobody knows I'm funny, at least I know I'm funny. So
Right.
whether you laugh or not, like
Right. Like you're like,
just an
okay.
open mic, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I think when we be like early on, we'd be like, but like because maybe just nerves or just trying to get everything out. But like, yeah, I just take the lead. Like yesterday, I had a show, and that was my first time taking like anything on stage with me. I usually don't take my phone. I don't
Yeah, I don't
do
either.
a notebook. This is my first time having a notebook, and I wrote my set list down, and like it went good. Like, but I wasn't taking the show seriously. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
chilling. I'm working on new tags. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't expect too many people to be here anyways. And then like a lot of people did end up showing, but like I was first, so I was like,
Yeah. Let's
let's
just
work on
go.
new shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think when you get more into it, you realize which ones, I mean, obviously take them all seriously, but which ones need to be taken more seriously or whatever. So
Yeah, yeah, and like I think you said, it's like, what are you getting out of like you don't have to crush every night. It could be as simple as, is this my new opening joke? Is this, I the joke that I said somebody interrupted last night. Um, I'm thinking about trying to make it my new opening joke, which is, a hard thing to do because your first joke is so important. But I have a private gig tonight, and I'm gonna throw it in, and we're gonna see. I mean, I'm producing the private gig. I'm gonna make the money. Fine, it's cool. But we're gonna see. You know what I mean? Like you have to know when to take chances. And I know the rest of my set is gonna be solid because I've been working on it for this long. It's great. Like I'm really happy with it. But I need to start to take more risks right now, and I'm in that place. And if I come out of it and people don't like the joke, then the question is, okay, why didn't people like the joke? And maybe it doesn't go in the open. Maybe it's still a good joke. So there's always a win if you're looking for it.
yeah. I've when I think started instead of like throwing jokes out, I've been like maybe take this line, put it here towards the end, and then
Yeah.
I'll go to a mic and be like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this joke. I don't care if you heard it last week. We're gonna do it
Hmm.
again. I'm gonna take this line. I'm gonna put it towards it. See where is it more
Yeah.
funnier at.
Yeah.
Dang, it was something that you said. Dang, it was something that you said that just really freak. I forgot. I always forget every goddamn episode of question that I have to ask. Man, it's too much goddamn weed.
I'm the same.
Oh yes, okay. It came back to me. How do you
Yeah.
figure out like what joke to tell first? Like, what's your process with that? And I'll tell you mine.
So if I'm doing like let's say I'm doing like a paid show right now or something like that, um, my opening joke had my closing joke is a callback to my opening joke. Um, I can put it anywhere, but I really like it. Uh, I want the audience to know something about me immediately. So truly, I want the audience to know something about me as I'm walking to the stage. I want them to have an idea of something. That's why, we talk about like how I dress on stage or whatever. That's why I just want people to understand I'm in control. And some comedians are going to argue that it's cheating or whatever it is. I don't care. This is what I do. Kiss my ass. Um, you know, but I want them to know something about me because I want them to feel. You got to feel them out. It's what are we gonna laugh at? Um, if I'm first in a lineup, I know I'm taking the bullet as they say. So I'm probably gonna push a little harder. I'm gonna use some stronger language, something like that, and then I'll back off. If I'm further in the lineup, I'm always paying attention to what's happening in the crowd. So that way, when I go up, maybe I know like, okay, they're not laughing at blue material. So let's start slow. I can still tell the same joke just in a different way. But that's really the way I do it. And I want
Yeah,
them. I want them like 2 minutes in. I want them to be like, all right, I have an idea of who this person is. I trust him. Let's go on this journey.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do it that way. I've never even. I know people do it that way. I've
Yeah.
never even thought to do it that way. I usually just like my first like minute, maybe 30 seconds, unless I'm like at the funny bone and it's like we got legit 5 minutes or they cutting you
Yeah.
off. uh I'm usually making a joke about the room, like, or
Yeah.
looking at people and like, okay, I'm gonna talk about you first and I'm gonna come over here and I'll come over there. I'll usually do that, or like state the obvious. One thing I've been doing now a lot lately is just saying what's up Caucasian as soon as I go on stage because there's nothing but Caucasians, and
Mm-hmm.
that makes them laugh. Like just pointing out stuff in the room to like, I guess, let them know we're all here or whatever.
Right.
That's
Right.
usually how I started off. And then sometimes I will actually write jokes that make it seem like it's crowd work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So to get them like, oh, he hasn't even started yet, and then but yeah,
Hmm.
I actually have. So yeah, but usually I'm gonna make a joke about somebody in the room or the establishment, especially if the establishment is shitty. I
Yeah.
will, I
See,
will run that to the wall.
it's hard for me because I don't like cracking too much on the place hosting a show because I'm like, damn, I want them to invite us back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like, I
yeah.
get it. You know, if everybody understands and everybody's kind of on board, cool. But I always hate. I was at a show once where somebody cracked on where we were, and then like the owner of the place was like, basically was just like, "Well, y'all can leave." I was like, ain't that about a bitch? Like, you know what I mean? Like, ugh, that's a tough. Ugh, like you don't like.
Ah.
I was like, well, we can leave. Can we get through me first, though? But yeah, I get it. You know, yeah, you want to. I think you want to find out if. For me, it's all about will the audience come on this ride with me? That's it. Because my goal is to take you on a ride, no matter how long it is. But I'll say you if I only have 5 minutes, God, like 5 minutes now it's like I don't want to do crowd work because I want my 5 minutes. But I get it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get it. It's
No.
different for everybody.
So I do that open mics, but I had a show and it
Yeah.
was a black room.
Yeah.
Well, it was a black business, and it was
Okay.
just shitty. Like it was downtown, and it was just like shitty.
Just
Like I'm like,
shitty.
and the owner didn't care. Like he was about to fight one of his employees, so I just went in. I had like a 10 minute set. I was going in on that place for like 7 minutes.
That's
Like,
funny. That's funny. Damn. He said
so
it
I feel
was
like
just shitty.
yeah, I feel like you definitely got to fill the room. I'm
Yeah.
good at like filling the room. Like if I know like they don't care, I'm gonna go in.
Yeah.
But if not, if I'm new, I'm not gonna say too much. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I kind of talk about race a lot, just for the simple fact that I talk about race in my everyday life. So
Same.
I
Same.
kind of toe the line with that. But yeah, because the other day I was thinking like, bro, you talk about race too much, and I
Bro,
was like, wait, that's who I am.
I had that same conversation. I was like, "You are you like I wrote this joke and I was like, aha, I need something here." And then I was like, oh, this talk about race. I was like, damn, every joke's gonna be about race. Like, can you talk about something different? And
Yeah, I felt.
maybe right now I can't. I don't know.
Yeah, I was feeling like, dang, like that's all you do, and I was like, but that's who I am. So I was like, I
Right.
can't really be mad about that.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, the experience we have or the experiences we have, that's what we're supposed to talk about.
yeah. Chris, what's some words of like encouragement or motivation you could give to anybody that's listening to this right now?
Um, if there all right, if there's something you want to do, it doesn't matter what it is. If there's something you want to do that you've been dreaming about doing, you have to just do it. Like you have to just do it. Doesn't matter what it is. Because if you wait, you can find any reason why you shouldn't, why you can't, why you won't. But if you just do it, then you never know what's gonna happen. That's literally that's all I can say. Like that's it. It doesn't matter. Just do it. We all started somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's all I got.
Chris, tell people why they should listen to comedians in bed.
First of all, you get to listen to a podcast where and damn it, I did it in bed. Okay. So if you're a comic, it's hearing other comic stories helps you learn about the game. I think we all want, one of the best things about doing comedy is being around comics. So if you don't have to go to a comedy club or it's an open mic to just be around us and you could just listen to things, you can get so much game just by, putting in your headphones or whatever it is. And also, if you're not a comic, there are experiences in comedy that you can apply to your everyday life. And lastly, because you can do a podcast and listen to a podcast where they're not wearing pants. I don't know about you, but I am not wearing pants. So there it is.
I was wondering, I'm like, okay, I don't know how he keep putting his hand down there, but I don't
No,
know
no,
my
no, no,
business.
no,
I'm gonna
no, it
stay
wasn't.
over here
Yeah.
where my rent is
No,
paid
no.
at.
It's my no, my phone is over here. I've been like, it's been actually going off. I actually am wearing pants. I'm not even joking. I'm wearing pajamas and they have pockets and I don't normally wear pants in bed. So it felt kind of weird. Not gonna lie to you.
Chris, tell people where they can find you at, man.
Man, yeah. So on Instagram, you can follow me at CRW Speaks. If you dare go to Twitter, I every now and then am on Twitter, but I'm mostly on Instagram. I have a website, cwilliamscomedy.com. Follow Let Loose Let Loose Comedy SB on Instagram. You can check out letloosecomedy.com. Yeah, that's where it's at.
Yeah, man. And if you want to tune into more episodes of Comedians in Bed, you can go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Ty Erskine. Also, if you want to listen to the audio version, we're available wherever you listen to podcasts, man. This has been an episode of Comedians in Bed with my guy, Chris Williams. This is the first time we've done it in bed. I probably shouldn't have said it that way, but this is the first time we've, I was about to say recorded in
This is
bed,
the
but that's
first time
not
we've
going to
ever
be.
done it, for the record,
Yes.
but also but also in bed.
But I appreciate Chris so much because we had a date and he was like, "Hey, hit me back later. I'm kind of busy right now." And hit him
Yeah,
back. He's just all around professional, man. I
I
think that's
appreciate
the
that, man.
white side in him.
It
So we're
might
going
be, man.
to.
Look, there's a lot of great. You know who I forgot to mention on my Hall of Fame or my Mount Rushmore? Wanda Sykes. My bad. Could not leave without saying that. Love
And
Wanda
he's
Sykes.
probably, and you're like probably the first male comic I've had on the show that has put women in his Mount Rushmore. I'm not even
It's
gonna lie
because
to you.
men are dumb. That's why. If we just listen to women more often, we be way smarter. Shit.
Yes, man. Yes, man. We appreciate you guys so much. Chris, man, thank you once again
Yes,
for
sir.
joining our show. Guys, we'll see you guys next